Here on Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days on Sports Talk on 99.1 The Sports Animal. I am Vince Ferrara, and we are joined by the Peach Bowl Incorporated CEO and President Gary Stokan. Gary, Vince Ferrara, good to see you.
Great to meet you.
Sorry I'm not Jimmy Himes.
Tell Jimmy I said hello. I miss Jimmy.
Yeah, this is the first time since 1984-85 that he hasn't covered a media days other than, if there has been a media days. That's how long it's been since he's missed.
That's amazing. I go back to Jimmy when we had Tennessee against Maryland and Tennessee against Clemson in our it was probably 2003, 2004 games in the old Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
He'll always track you down no matter where you're at, for sure.
He did a good job. He's a good guy.
Yeah, absolutely. So the center of the sports world this week has been in Dallas. Obviously, you have media days here. You have everything going on with Major League Baseball. You had the draft. You had Home Run Derby, the All-Star game last night. But Atlanta's going to be the center of the college football world this year. Talk about how unique it's going to be to have your game, the Aflac Kickoff game, SEC Championship, the quarterfinal with the Peach Bowl, all in one venue.
And then we end the year with the national championship game. So, 4 games with top 10 teams in all 4 games. It's a lot of the reason why a lot of the media call us the capital of college football. And then, moving to next year, to have a quarterfinal of the CFP, the championship game, and a semifinal all within a year is quite remarkable. So we're very, very blessed. We've got a great city to do it in, the best staff in the bowl business, and wonderful volunteers that really love to give Southern hospitality. And then we have great facilities, great hotels, but we have corporations that really get it, like Aflac for the kickoff game and like Chick-fil-A for the Peach Bowl. So we have all the ingredients to just be very, very successful, so I stay out of everybody's way.
Your staff is so good, they even gave me the duck.
You got the Aflac duck.
So appreciate that.
We got ducks and cows.
That's right.
Cows with Chick-fil-A and ducks with Aflac.
Expect to see them on the billboard together at some point.
Yeah,
that would be perfect.
That's not a bad idea.
I appreciate that. So your game today, I was looking at my helmet schedule, and it says Clemson versus Georgia in Atlanta. That's your Aflac Kickoff game. Man, a lot of excitement with those two fan bases.
Yeah, I tell you what, most of, obviously, the number 1, number 2 alumni bases of SEC and ACC live in Metro Atlanta. Now that'll change a little bit with Oklahoma and Texas, but we have so many alumni of Georgia and Clemson living in Atlanta, and then it's an easy drive throughout the rest of South Carolina, Georgia for everybody else. So we're obviously going to have a sellout, but we may have a record that we set with Georgia, Ohio State in our Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl semifinal in 2003. We may have a record attendance in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So, but the bigger thing is we've called this a kickoff for a cause. And Aflac has given $176 million to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta to create the Aflac Blood and Cancer Disorder Center. We've given $22 million to Children's Healthcare.
Wow.
To now, currently, we have 14 trials to find cures to eradicate childhood cancer in 5 different hospitals in 4 different states. And so this is something last year we raised $300,000. We hope to raise that or more this year by using college football for the greater good. We were the first bowl founded for charity back in 1968, and we've kept that part of our mission as we've raised $63 million to give away to charity since 2002, which makes us the most charitable bowl organization in the country.
Amazing work. Keep up the great work there.
Thank you.
Visiting with Gary Stokan, who's the Peach Bowl Incorporated CEO and president. So Tennessee has been at your game in the past. North Carolina State, the most or one of those previous times we've seen Tennessee there. They're coming back. Georgia Tech, I guess, was the last time in 2017.
Yeah, the overtime game, yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. But talk about Tennessee and Syracuse in 2025.
Well, Tennessee, first off, my daughter graduated from Tennessee, so very, very close to Tennessee. When I was with Adidas, I had Pat Head Summit under Adidas contract when she coached there.
Wow.
She was a very good friend. Joan Cronin was a good friend. Dave Hart, Philip Fulmer. I go on and on with great memories and great feelings about Tennessee. And now Danny White, is a good friend who has done, I think, a wonderful job at Tennessee. And Josh Heupel now that, Yesterday I visited with Josh. I'm recruiting him to try and get him in our golf tournament that we give money away to the coaches' foundations. So we're trying to recruit him for that. But, yeah, it's going to be an exciting year next year with Tennessee, Syracuse. Syracuse is doing a really good job recruiting, and on the way up. Tennessee is obviously, at that top level of the SEC. So, that'll be a dynamic game. And then we also have the Virginia Tech, South Carolina game. So we'll have 2 games next year in the Aflac Kickoff game.
So if you do like a 3-on-3, I think Josh Heupel would be in. Maybe if you play in the 3-on-3, you got to play in the golf tournament.
Is he a hooper?
Oh, man, he brags about
how
good
right?
of a hooper he is.
Wow.
Yeah.
I played basketball in North Carolina State and coached there, so I'll have to talk to him about some hoops.
Yeah, talk some hoops. He talk some trash to the Tennessee basketball team and how good he can shoot.
And Rick's a good friend. I grew up with Rick, playing at North Carolina State. He was at Hickory, North Carolina, at Lenore Rhine, and Rick's a good friend. So say hi to all those guys for me.
Pretty nice collection of coaches Tennessee has right now.
Oh, yeah.
Cashed in on the.
Well, I went to Omaha because my alma mater, NC State, was there, and watching Tennessee do what they did was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It was nice to have Peyton and Danny and Rick and Josh all out there. Great support for their baseball team.
Pretty star-studded booth up there.
Yeah,
right?
pretty strong.
Well, we've talked. How many years have we talked about, hey, what if college football expands? What about this playoff thing? What if they go beyond 4? Is it going to be 8? Is it going to be 12? Is it going to be 16? And now it's a reality.
Yeah.
12-team playoff. How do you kind of comprehend this, that we're in this 12-team playoff world now?
Well, college football's second most favorite sport in this country, only behind the NFL. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to even elevate even more because now you have more networks. You have all the networks broadcasting TV. You got NBC, ABC, Fox, ESPN. So you got more people broadcasting the game, CBS. So I think you're going to see viewership go up. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to see attendance go up because more teams are going to be in the hunt through late November for this 12-team playoff than there were for the 14 playoff, when if you lost a game in September, you're in trouble, right? Mm-hmm. So I think you're going to have more teams, more interest, more viewership, more attendance, so it's going to raise the level of college football. It's a shame the Pac-12, their demise, because if they'd have stayed around for another year, they'd have been guaranteed a spot, as their conference champ in the playoff, and they'd probably got another team in, and so all the recruiting, those kids would have stayed out there like C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young and Anguilea. They were all California kids.
Yep.
Well, they would have stayed out of USC and UCLA, and the Pac-12 probably would have thrived. So it's really unfortunate we don't have the Pac-12 around, but I do think the 12-team playoff, we're humbly proud to be a part of it, with a quarterfinal this year and a semifinal next year and the national championship this year. So I think it's just going to elevate college football to a whole new level.
Do you have any more of your schedule done or decided on beyond 2025, or is that all that you?
Yeah, we're just through 25. It's interesting with the realignment, with the playoff, with the TV contracts. The SEC is considering going to 9. Based on what's ESPN going to do with the TV contract, right?
Right.
So whether they go to 9 or not changes the inventory that's available for these neutral site games, because as an AD, you got to schedule 7 home games to make your budget.
Right.
And so, if you go to 9, some years you got 4 conference games at home, 4 away, or 5 away. You only have 3 games left. You got to schedule all 3 of those at home,
right,
to make your budget. So, it's gonna, potentially change the opportunity to have neutral site games.
So, do you think that ESPN contract maybe is a bigger factor, more so than the data point on how the SEC is looked at when the playoff committee makes their decision of teams?
Yeah,
because
it's a great question.
They have one less conference game.
Yeah, I think there's 3 things at play. Number 1 is the money.
Yeah,
right. Money's always involved.
Yeah.
Is ESPN willing to pay more for another conference game? Right. Mm-hmm. Number 2, I think you have some of the schools in the SEC have to look and say, okay, you've already brought Texas Oklahoma on. Now you bring another conference game on. Are we able to get to 6 wins?
Right.
Because we want to go to a bowl game.
Yep.
Right. So you got that consideration. Then thirdly, you got the selection committee. I think, over the next 2 years, the last 2 years of this first 12-year contract, what is the selection committee gonna reward? Right? Is it going to reward you playing a tough schedule even though you lost? You know, are we going to see teams with 3 losses get into the playoff? Or is it going to be like the first playoff, the 14 playoff? If you had 2 losses, no one ever made it in.
Right.
You know, I think you'll see 2 lost teams in the playoff. Will you see 3 lost teams? I don't know. But, you know, those data points are still to be decided. And so I think those are the 3 top things the SEC is probably looking at, whether they move to nine conference games.
2024 matchup for the Aflac kickoff game. It is Clemson and Georgia. Looking forward to that. The game of week 1, right?
Yeah, we're noon at August 31st. We kick off the season. Mm-hmm. There's some games in week 0, obviously, but
right.
You know, having that noon game is going to be a great kickoff to the season with 2 top 10 teams.
Gary, great to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Vince, thanks so much for having us.
All right.
Have a great season.
Thanks.
Look forward to come visit us in Atlanta.
Absolutely. There's a lot of opportunities,
yeah,
too.
Exactly
We hope
right.
to be there. If Tennessee is there, we'll certainly see you
We'll
there.
look forward to hosting you.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
That is Gary Stokan. He is the Peach Bowl Incorporated CEO and president here, joining us on Sports Talk 99.1, the sports animal on Radio Row in Dallas.